Fire mitigation has the power to help save homes, though that prevention is not as realistic for every Coloradan. Here's ANUSHA Roy.
The conversation around fire mitigation goes hand in hand with what we can afford. If money was not an obstacle, what could Colorado achieve?
We would love to have an amount of money that would allow for our mountains to have healthier forests and for those that live in the mountains to be better protected.
The idea unveils the nuances of mitigation as we face off with wildfires. Spending more on mitigation would help certain parts of the state a lot.
If you think about the effort that it would take for us to mitigate the forest in our beloved mountains, it would be astronomical in terms of pricing and land and the amount of people that it would take to perform this.
But isn't as realistic in other areas like the Eastern Plains, where Hugo Fire says it's harder to ask farmers and ranchers to mitigate the same land they are relying on for their income because it means losing production and money every year. So they use roads as fire breaks, especially around land that's trickier to mitigate, and individual homes and businesses work on fire protection.
A substantial portion of Douglas County that's in the wildland urban interface.
That means trying to get out ahead of new developments.
He's talking to them about the need to mitigate these areas as the new homes and new subdivision are being put in.
Which brings us back to the ask for individual homeowners to protect their houses. Just last week in Jefferson County, Elk Creek Fire Rescue said a fire burned right up against a home.
But because the property owner had mitigated their land, the fire slowed and they were able to get ahead of it. But the fire did burn right up to the property.
And that house, it's still standing. We just heard from the Elk Creek Fire Rescue Department, said the same thing, that the homeowner did that mitigation work and that it absolutely helped save that home and is the reason that it is still standing right now.
It works, costs money, therefore cash needed.
Right, and so this was brought up so many times at the legislative session, and right at the end, a bunch of bills were passed to head to the governor. One of them setting aside $10 million in grants to help out local governments spending on mitigation. The other one saying, hey, if there is a prescribed burn, you got to tell your local fire department so they can be on standby or be there if they need to help. And a lot of other elements to support, especially our volunteer firefighters as well. And everyone I was talking to today said, you know, that's a great first step.
Yep, I feel like you've really helped inform us about the needs of especially volunteer firefighters. ANUSHA, thank you.